guys actually hear me? Alright, hold on. I'm trying to work this out. I'm not on my desk at home today. I'm actually at the school where I work. It might be better if I don't talk too much then, if I'm being honest. Hold on, I'm trying to make some adjustments here. I'm trying to make some adjustments here. Okay, so the volume isn't so bad. Let me turn the music up. Alright, so you'll have to put up with the background noise. I don't know of any ways to eliminate it with my current set up here. Hold on. Let me see if I can actually do this. Here. Alright. I think I found a way to eliminate the background noise. Alright. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay, so happy Monday to you guys. And let me run down the list. Everybody who said hello. Alester, buenos dias. EXE, yo, what's going on, man? Alistair, Dubaya. Fair enough. Lasagna, have a good time at class, man. I'll probably be on this thing most of the day, so don't rush it. Neverborn. I've seen you around before plenty. I shall keep it up, thank you. Unsaken, hey, how are ya? Mr. Blanks, how are ya? And then, Grigori Burov. How's it going with you? Alright. You'll have to forgive the echo. I am currently not in my place. I am streaming from a little storage room at the school where I work at. No one really goes in here, and so the facilities guys, they'll let me, hang out, do my thing. So I'm gonna stream here. As you can see from the video, we're doing a walk cycle today. You may have seen this a few times crop up on my social media accounts and whatever. You also recognize it like as a super old, animation. I started working on it. I guess I wasn't really prepared to finish it or really work on it too much, but that's clearly changed. So I'm gonna be drawing this and explaining little things that I do on the way as we go. Because a lot of times animators do things in a way that maybe doesn't utilize animation to the best of its ability. So, let me show you guys what I'm talking about here. Yeah, so this is the animation. It's pretty straightforward. So we start off with, her hands on her hips. And then, she kind of takes a couple of steps, makes the camera shake a little bit. Kind of is like, all right, this ain't so bad. And then settles into a straight walk cycle, right? So the plan is from this point onward, we're gonna make it a straight, looping thing, all right? All of this, her transition into it, that's its own separate process, which has taken up quite a considerable amount of time. But it was made simpler. It was made simpler due to the fact, this is the rough that I did earlier, but let's see if I can pull it up somewhere. Right. So the original animation is all of this stuff right here. So you can play it out. All of that playing, like that was my original animation, right? But what I did was I added this part to the beginning, utilizing the timing from the original animation to sort of play with it, tweak it a little bit, right? Give her a little bit extra personality. So, where I went from here, right? I started drawing the damn thing. Every footfall was marked as a key drawing, right? And let me show you which ones those are. So, actually, that's not quite true. The key drawings in a walk cycle are the footfall. Actually, it's the frame right before the footfall, to be honest, and the passing position. So that would be these guys here. So I started her off with her foot on the ground here. No one's gonna get too upset, I don't think. But we have a passing position here, which is where her foot is moving. So a passing position, right? It's when her upper leg is made its transition to its forward position, and her lower leg knee is kind of like going backwards in space, and her foot rises above the ground. It's no longer bearing any weight. That's the passing position. And I recently was pointed out that her hip movement didn't look so great, so I went back and fixed it. So, what the hell is this marked as a key draw? Hold on. Let me take that off the shape. Right? These are all the keys, right? I still have to do the passing positions between these two right here. But when you play it all together, it looks a little like this. Alright. I didn't do all that extra stuff. Let me go backwards. Here we go. So, I'm going to show you a little neato trick that makes animations kind of get a little more interesting. So let's go to the drawing here, right? So right now we're on a key drawing, right? And I wanted to link it to this drawing, right? So what a lot of people will do, right, is when they want to link up this drawing, say, to this drawing, and it could be literally any drawing, whatever, they'll just kind of draw the joining frame as like the direct center of these two drawings, right? It's not what I did. So when you want to animate, it's a good idea to have the drawing after and before planned out, all right? And the reason is pretty dang simple. You want to locate the arcs. You want to see how the body parts all kind of move together in harmony or disharmony. Let me show you, right? So again, we have this drawing and this drawing, okay? Let's focus on the shoulder, for example, right? Imagine the shoulder like a ball, right? Starting off here and moves down here and ends up here. You can see it kind of forms its own little sideways loop, right? So, what I did when I was animating, right, is I want this circle that I drew to form an easy to follow arc, which is gonna look a little something like this. So it's like a hook, right? So let me show you kind of what the shoulder ended up doing as I drew it, okay? It's hard to explain, but just see if you can see it, all right? When we end up in this position, the movement of the shoulder slows down significantly. All right? This is just from me eyeballing, right? So, the ball is moving faster and then slows down. Okay? And then it's gonna move this. I'm gonna draw a circle again. Okay. So I'm gonna try to draw out the arc that I ended up seeing in my head. Okay. Now here's why you want to know the drawing before and after, right? We want this circle to continue moving at an easy to follow speed, okay? And we want to keep it relatively consistent. So we have a ball right here, right? That moves very quickly down here, slows down, okay? Now, when we're moving over here, we need to keep that slow motion right here at the turn, okay? So what I did for this shoulder was I looked at the space between these two drawings, and all I did was add another drawing that kept that spacing, okay? And again, this is being applied to the shoulder, all right? I'm doing this for several body parts at once, but I'm just kind of showing you where my head space is, right? Okay. So now we can kind of pick up the pace a little bit and join the drawing right here with the one over here. Okay. Now, let me go over here. We just complete the arc like this. That's what you should be doing for animation, okay? So you got a key here, and a key here. All right? You don't just find the point directly in the center, because if I had done that, say, my circle would have been like right here. It wouldn't have looked very good. So as I'm going forward, as I'm drawing, keep that particular idea in mind, that you want to know the arcs of your body parts, right? Now you need to go through and draw each individual section one at a time. That's why you gotta like zoom out, all right, and get a sense for it. So let me once again take it out, and you guys can see the whole thing in motion. That's animation in a nutshell. Nothing moves in a straight line unless it was like deliberately intended. Okay? All right, so that's enough yapping. I'm gonna get back to it. So let's go ahead and continue. So let me try to figure out where I was. So the method that I just told you about, that was a mixture of reposing and the straight ahead animation method. Both of those methods are great on their own, but they both run the risk of being a little disjointed if you don't quite know how to link them. So key drawings are nice. That's pretty dang standard across animation in general, at least out here in the West. I don't know how they do things out in the East, like in Russia and China, but you know, that's where you create all the storytelling poses. That's, you know, the essence of your drawing. You know? That's kind of what it's all about, right? The risk of that, though, is you risk getting a little bit locked in to what you drew in those keys, right? If you just stick to that, and it's especially true for, you know, younger animators. Quite a lot of them, when they think of, you know, joining the keys together with in-betweens, they tend to just stick to drawing like directly in the center, and that makes for some pretty stiff animation. Now, let's see. If you're doing straight ahead animation, and straight ahead animation, as I would explain it, it's when you start off at like frame 1, and then your next drawing is on like, you know, frame 2 and frame 3, yada yada yada. You get the idea. You're drawing chronologically. And that works pretty great, but you need to have a sense of control, because it's very easy using that method to get lost. You know, you can end up drawing way more drawings than you intended to, and your animation balloons. The next thing you know, you are way in over your head. So I learned this in the animation. I learned this in the animation survival kit by Richard Williams. You mix the two up. You have key drawings, and then you utilize straight aheads to join them. That's when you can really make. That's when you can bring out the best of both methods. Gory, I seriously couldn't tell you, man. And I'm not even gonna bother to try to figure it out. The reason is I've been kind of having periods on this where I like would work on this, and then some where I didn't. It hasn't been exactly a short tenure. Since I've picked it back up again, I guess I've worked on it for a good solid 10, maybe 15 hours. Now, it's taken me a little bit longer because I've actually never done a proper one cycle before. This is my first time really doing this in 2D. I've done it in 3D, it's a lot easier. 3D, at least for me. You know, all you gotta do is move body parts and the program, if you use it properly, fills in the rest. But, you know, this is my first time doing it in 2D. Come on, Toro. Now, I'm not trying to make this look especially pretty in terms of like line quality. I don't care. I'm just trying to find the motion. If I wanted to get like a cleanup artist to do it, that's honestly what I would do. I don't feel like doing cleanup art myself for this one. I'd rather just do the animation and then, because honestly, no one gives a shit about it. Truth is, when you are looking at this in motion, the only drawings that are truly gonna matter, well, they all matter. I don't know if I should say that, but the drawings that will matter the most are definitely gonna be the Again, I'm keeping the motion in mind from these drawings. No one drawing exists in isolation when you're in animation. All work together to create. Every single thing that you do has a cause and effect. I will say I do enjoy working on I do enjoy working on drawings and illustrations a lot. I guess there's more turnaround, I guess. It's faster to get a finished product out, way faster. you gotta take your time with this stuff. There's some animators who are like super gifted and can like, draw this stuff instantly. I am not one of those people. Actually, that's not true. I can be if I'm needed. When I was working on my last commercial gig, I had a very fast turnaround. But for these personal ones, I prefer to take my time. How's the music, by the way? The music all right? Sorry about my lack of reading the comments section right now. I'm just trying to draw. It's a little hard to do both sometimes. Okay, so I'm going to utilize a little tool that I discovered recently. So since we're focusing on this section, keep the playback in this section. Alright, so I didn't realize this sort of tool existed in Boom Boom, but it's called the Shift and Trace feature. And yeah, here's an old one that I rejected. But it's called the Shift and Trace feature, right? So Shift and Trace feature, it allows me to basically pick two drawings from any point in the timeline and create onion skins for those drawings in particular. So let me show you what I'm trying to do, right? So I want to link this drawing. We're focusing on the feet right? So I want to link this drawing with this drawing because as you can see, there's differences. And trying to draw these, I can do it, but it's easier in this case if I had just a straight in between for these because feet are difficult. So I'm going to create Shift and Trace for this. Give me one second. Here are my two drawings here. Now I can move these drawings and not affect their actual placement in the camera. So I'm gonna go ahead. I want to put this like straight. I want to have points of reference in order to draw these. I'm gonna link up the ankle bones in this case because I'm gonna work on the. Left foot here. So let me go ahead and add this. I'm still new to this thing, so give me one. hold on. I need to do it over again. So, 20, so 19, 20, 7. Here we go. So, once again, this. So, now I can create a solid in-between for those 2 foot positions. Unstaken, look up Metal Gear Solid Lo-Fi. I don't know the name of the song, and I'm not going to put it up right now. And, yes, Toro, I did make that thumbnail. Drew it myself. Not particularly a huge fan of drawing feet, but I'm not really terrible at it anymore either. Yeah, they're not gonna look so good individually, but they'll do the job in motion. I was just watching Teen Titans last time with my wife. Look at how awesome that show is. I'm going to take off any sort of camera movements. Now, try to observe. You know what? I'll wait until I'm done. Now, I'm going to do the other one. You know what? I think I gotta move it. In my personal opinion, I think toes are harder. But I think I know why I struggle with it. I don't really know the bone structure underneath of it. So, you know what? I'm gonna do it again. No, man, I do okay with fingers. Those are one of those things where it's like, even if I have reference, I still can screw it up. I actually don't have a hard time drawing hands. Now, if if you're still learning how to do it, they can suck. Definitely. But what you need to do, turn your weaknesses into your strengths. You guys read my comic. I use a ton of references for hands. I got fairly comfortable. Feet? I even got a little comfortable with feet too. That said, I'm thinking I'm gonna need to spend some time next year really getting used to some of the harder parts of drawing the body. To me, the absolute hardest part to draw is the knees. I hate drawing knees, dude. With a burning passion. I hate drawing. I never feel like I can get them right. But knees do so much in terms of suggesting weight, posture, weight distribution. That's just me. All right, so let me exit out of this. Now, I'm gonna link these up. You notice that it's wildly out of place. That's okay. So I'm gonna move it into place. Doesn't need to be exactly it, but close enough. Right now, this one here, let's do the same thing. Now, if we look at it in motion, it's nicer. I've gotten, thanks, Toro. I've gotten better, but I still have some work to do. Actually, one area that I am truly weak, I am truly bad at drawing, is hair. That is, bar none, the hardest thing. Hair and clothes. They follow the same general guidelines and principles. I suck at it. I am terrible. You ask me to animate clothes, I would die. Which means it needs to become a strength. And generally speaking, women tend to have the coolest clothes when it comes to animating. You know, their skirts and dresses and veils and all kinds of other stuff. Okay. It is so cold where I live, man. I'm freezing. Alright. And I'm sure you probably noticed the ab section isn't so developed. I'm leaving that more or less kind of bare for now. I'm going to go back and do that separately just to kind of give it some proper attention. As long as the main sort of guideline for the center of the ab is there. I know you can, I know it's not so developed, but you can still see the center of where like the ab is twisted. That's important. Alright, so now actually I gotta finish her. It's an in-between, so it's gonna look a little rough. But you know what? No skin off my back. It looks rough. I've just come to realize that's a good thing. Many people today are trying to get finished looking polished stuff out there, and a lot of those so, in my opinion, allowing a little bit of sloppiness into your work, it's a good thing. It signals humanity and it signals confidence. I'm not interested in the picture quality so much. If you want picture quality, look at my illustrations. But my main goal here is motion. Let's move on to our next image. These two and these two. See you later, Rat Knight. See you later, EXE. Rat Knight. I'm not really a fan of comics in general, by the way. Just so that way, you know, you can leave with that answer. Not a huge fan of them, but you know, doesn't mean I don't think they're good. Okay. Alright, so now we got some emotion to come. So, let's start with the best thing to do when you're doing these is don't try to do the whole thing at once, man. Everything kind of moves. They move together, but they also move separately, if that makes sense. Everything is unified in one body, but everything also is doing its own thing. So to avoid getting overwhelmed, I'm going to start with the head. And I'm going to work at a smaller line thickness, just so that way I can explore a little bit. So. Comes down, settles, and then shoots back. So. To avoid having to draw so many pictures, oftentimes you can get away with only drawing a few. And how you would do it is this. So I've got my in-betweens that lead into this key drawing. You'll notice they all kind of are pretty close together in space, right? But this next one kind of shoots up, right? So what I'm going to do is to prevent a big jump. I'm just going to draw another key drawing that favors the previous one. And what that means is this. The previous drawing is the one in red. This is an onion skin button. The previous drawing is the one in red, right? The next drawing is the one in green. So to make a motion that's a little smoother and only using one drawing to make it look pleasing to the eye, I'm going to draw one drawing that favors the previous one to help suggest the beginnings of motion upward. Okay, but still keep it smooth. So let's give it a shot. I'm not going to want to use onion skins. Okay, now another thing, okay? Just a quick little rehash of what we talked about earlier. So, we'll use the ball example. One here, ball 2 here, 3 here, and ball 4 right here, right? And ball 5 here. And ball 6 here. So keep your eye on the motion of the ball, right? Notice it's forming a circle. That's because when we walk, our heads move in a sort of infinity sign, right? That was terrible. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. So the head kind of bobs around in the infinity sign. We're just kind of getting the beginnings of that stuff. I'm going to draw a ball kind of like this. Now you can see the complete motion without me having to draw so many drawings to fill in the gaps. It moves fast here, settles here. Yada yada yada. Right? So I'm gonna make another drawing. Kind of does this, right? We go back to my original orientation and get back at it. I specifically want to work loose to not get locked into any particular one drawing. I don't want beauty when I'm doing this. Now if I want to cheat a little bit, I'm kind of looking at the previous one. You get the beginnings of that sort of motion I was talking about. Now dots. Dots are your best friend. The same way that I utilized the circle to show you my example. Dots do the same dang thing. Animation is really nothing more than just inking up a bunch of shapes. That's all it is. Well, actually, that's all. So, Grigori. Yeah, sure. You know, but that's a. Eh, if something like that were to arise, I don't think I would pass up an opportunity like that. My ultimate goal, I guess, I would like to work in a big studio for a little bit, just to say I did it. But I don't want to stay there. You know, I don't want to be doing um, work for like that for my entire life. I'd rather be just drawing my own stuff, staying independent. Which means I'm gonna need to get off of. I'm gonna definitely need to get off this character soon. Probably soon. Can't see it working. Let's keep moving. So this is working. It's gonna be a little bit tricky. Let's see. I'm talking about specifically the shoulders. So we got a little bit of movement in the left shoulder, and so far none in the right. So we got to continue the path of the left shoulder and begin the path of the right shoulder. They're moving in opposite directions, right? So the right shoulder is going to begin its slow movement downwards. Left is going to begin or continue its trajectory upwards. So let's go ahead and make that. Start off with the right shoulder. So this one's going to kind of move in like an S. Okay. Already got a little bit of that. Also got somewhat light movement or light indications of the neck muscle. I'm gonna get rid of this. You know what? Maybe I'll keep that one in place.
Snake, are you okay?
I see the issue. This is a key drawing I haven't drawn in. Okay, so after I do these two drawings here, actually go ahead and get the onion skin up. So after I do these two drawings, I'm gonna need to link these guys up here. That's gonna be a key drawing, so I'm gonna need to spend a little more time developing that. It's gonna be this guy. Hey, so guys, I need to go grab a charger for my tablet really quick, so that way I can have a screen open for the the stream or whatever. I'll be back in like 5 minutes, but I shall return very shortly. So just to show you where we are currently. Let's even take the underdrawn off. Santiago, no, I did not. Alright, I'll be back. guys. I'm probably gonna actually cut it over for the day. I'm probably gonna pack it up and head out. See you guys later.